10 seconds or what? All right. And welcome back to the Going for Two podcast. This is Christopher Magnuson along with Cody and Topher. We are live in the MBEC. Cody, how are you doing today?
Doing great.
Doing great.
Not as cold though.
It is not as cold. A little cold in here. I didn't turn the heat on until later.
It is
Perfect temp. We are live from the MBEC for Going for Two podcast. We're on Spotify, we're on Apple, and we are now on YouTube. We are at the Going for Two page on YouTube. We'll try to share it. We can also share this recording on Spotify as I get more technologically savvy after 7 months of doing this. How's everyone doing today? Doing well. Saturday, the NFL playoff starts today. College football finals set. Where do you want to start?
I don't know. It depends. You want to go over James or?
Well, we'll start with college football playoff. Well, I mean, two excellent games. So as bad as this playoff's been, first of all, I'm repping Ole Miss today, everyone. If you see that, that's in honor of Lane and the MPC having as many teams as the SEC in the national championship game, 0. You know, both games were fantastic. I thought the Notre Dame Penn State game was, you know, just the physicality, the momentum swings, the runs were amazing. I don't blame James Franklin for this loss. I don't. I know he's the worst big game coach ever. Everyone's like, the record shows. I just think that, you know, the offensive coordinator, you know, he's always been categorized as kind of, how would you say it? He's kind of, you know, quirky, you know, kind of like gimmicky for the most part. I thought, I mean, you just ran the ball for 15 yards on first down. You have 2 timeouts. Your backs have 80-something yards. And I know Notre Dame shut them down in the second half. I think they only had 60 yards rushing and 140 at that. I thought, you know, you have 2 timeouts, run it again, and then get in the field goal range. And the smart thing is, so I don't blame, it's not a James Franklin loss. The second thing is the preparation on the Notre Dame side on that play is, you know, what is Drew Aller's weaknesses? You take away his first 2 reads. Make him make a play or panic. And panic. So first read was the tight end Warren, who wasn't open. Second read was the crosser. No, I think the back out of the backfield wasn't open. Instead of throwing it away, he panics and, you know, throws it across the body. Notre Dame gets the interception. And by the way, Greg McElroy, I mean, I hope he becomes a head coach because his teams will kick field goals the whole time. You know, Notre Dame doesn't need to get a touchdown here. Like, why would you want to get a touchdown? You know, Penn State doesn't need to get a touchdown here. Like, yeah. But yeah, I just, you know, Notre Dame, but the thing that I love about Notre Dame is the resiliency. You know, I thought Penn State was easily the better team in the first half. I thought they had the interception in the end zone. They blew some opportunities. They could have been up like 20-0 if they wanted. They could have, yes.
You're absolutely right. Got a ton of missed opportunities.
You know, and then it's like halftime came and Notre Dame has a great staff. I mean, I think Al Golden as their new coordinator is one of the, you know, hidden gems. And we'll get to the preview of the national championship later. But I think, you know, the adjustments came out halftime. Notre Dame got physical. They used Riley Leonard, but also the unsung hero of this game, in my opinion, is the backup quarterback that came in and led them to a field goal drive. And that kid's got a rifle. I mean, he had some great throws, great reads. And, you know, the second half, Notre Dame came out, punched Penn State in the mouth, and to Penn State's credit, they came back and then nice long drive, and they scored, and 17-17. I thought the officiating was questionable at times. You know, the Penn State's running touchdown in the fourth quarter, I mean, you can't grab a guy by the shoulder pad, you know, if you're blocking him, and that's got to be a hold. And then I thought the pass pass interference was ridiculous because there's, half of Notre Dame's defensive roster was in the end zone and threw it. But, it is what it is. I don't blame James Franklin. I just think that Notre Dame's just got this level of toughness and grit that other teams, don't have at times.
You're right. It's Notre Dame from the coaching standpoint or media standpoint. I mean, they're dogs.
Yeah,
and their defense is as sound as probably more than anybody else that I've seen.
Well,
especially when it counts.
Yeah, and this is my argument. Everyone's like, we'll get into the Ohio State game. Well, Ohio State's a 10-point favorite, so let's do some backwards math for everyone. Okay. Ohio State just barely beat Texas. Texas got its ass kicked by Georgia twice. Notre Dame housed Georgia. I don't care about the backup quarterback or whatever. I mean, Georgia beat Texas with a backup quarterback in the SEC championship game
at the end.
Yeah. Well, he was in the second quarter. That got hurt in the second quarter.
Or, no, halftime. So
yeah.
The whole second half.
So, I mean, this whole thing that Ohio State's 10 points better than Notre Dame is, to me, a little disrespectful. And I think Marcus Freeman and that staff will utilize it. But, yeah, if you do the math backwards, it's like, okay, Notre Dame just handled Georgia. Handled it. And they beat Texas twice. Ohio State's one dumb call away from going to overtime probably last night. It's like, okay, where is this? And this is a thing, any coach who coaches youth, high school, college, these are kids, the highs and lows. And I think Ohio State walked into that Cotton Bowl last night, thought they're going to destroy it.
Yeah, they didn't have to play. They didn't have to. And, Texas has some internal issues that I don't even know where to begin with.
Oh, how many times did I text you? Where's Arch Manning? Where's Arch Manning? I mean, Ewers looked like Lynn Dickey in the Packers in the 80s. He has no pocket awareness whatsoever. Like zero, zilch, nothing.
And it just, when you look at it, you see Division I quarterbacks at all levels.
Yeah.
When you go to the draft combine and they do your how far you can throw it and this, that, the other. The Ewers Hail Mary at halftime, before halftime. That might have been 50 yards tops.
Yeah.
For air time.
Yeah. He has like no arm strength.
So, and we don't know what the actual specifics are on that, but there's professionals who can barely, withstand pressure among themselves, especially the outside media pressure.
Yeah.
You have reports that, this Ewers isn't coming back.
Yeah. Well, they're talking about his NIL. They're talking Notre Dame. They're talking, who else did they mention? This morning, actually, I was in cover 3. Oregon, maybe. Ohio State going back there.
But the point is there's professionals, NFL players, NBA players who have troubles to deal with the whole scope. So whether those reports are true or not, that's still fluttering within the team. That's still in the back of Ewers' head, depending on what he's actually going to do. And now you're going up against Ohio State, who, financially is the most stacked team, player per cost.
Yeah, because, you look at their roster, their defense is all like fifth-year seniors, juniors. They got a couple of transfer kids, but they utilize their NIL money to retain their roster. Mm-hmm. So they're not having what Texas has. And this is the thing that baffles me. We'll get into the game later, but the loyalty that Sark has to Ewers is scary. It is like he's so loyal to him no matter how bad he plays. Sark, if you play Arch Manning, you're playing for a national championship. And it's like, why are you so loyal to this guy who's kind of mediocre?
He's got a noodle arm. He's undersized.
Yeah.
Was he just a transfer from Ohio State?
Yeah,
was he somewhere else?
No, he was at Ohio State, and he was part of I think the CJ Stroud.
Yes, but those are the only two schools.
He went to Ohio State and Texas, and now he's going to transfer portal. But, to the game, it's like, to me, it was like Rocky IV. When, Ohio State's Ivan Drago, he's the Russian, Texas is Rocky, and fucking, right away, Ohio State goes right down the field. 3-0, right down the field. I'm like, all right, this is going to be a boat race. And all of a sudden, defensively, I love Texas' scheme. They bracketed Smith. Mm-hmm. They kind of bracketed Jigba a little bit. And they made Will Howard go to 17. I can't remember his name right now. And he hit him quite a bit, but I mean, he still struggled getting open on one-on-one coverage on the outside against Texas. Will Howard had a lot of errant throws. He tried to force one into Smith, who was intercepted. And if you parallel that to like what Michigan did, our front seven didn't control the game, we're going to bracket Smith. It's the exact same thing. And I think of a Marcus Freeman. You can do that with your group. I think your front seven's as good as Texas's. But yeah, Texas had opportunities. I mean, at the end you think about this game. 7-7, Texas finally scores. They play prevent defense. Their safeties are, I think, in Jerry Jones' office. And they give up a cheesy screen pass for a touchdown before the half.
We'll touch base on that in the NFL area a year later on. But yeah. I agree. I know exactly what you're talking about. I don't understand it.
Yeah, so then you tie it. Ohio State has its 2 good drives they had all day. And then you have first and goal from the 1, and you run a toss on second and goal. You panic because his right guard got his ass kicked up first and goal from the 1. So second and goal from the 1, and you panic, and you run a toss to my favorite side of the fucking field, short side, against the fastest defense left in the college football. I mean, it's just, and then third down, he throws a one hopper. Fourth down, obviously, Ohio State strip sack by Sawyer, runs it back. I mean, it's just, you should have won that game. Texas should have won that game. And, but I do think that Ohio State's, I think you there's 2 cards going into this. The Notre Dame disrespect card, which I think Marcus Freeman and staff would play well. And the second thing is Ohio State is human. I mean, they're human.
Why can't you're absolutely right that they're human. And I don't know if they're looking at film from the Michigan game.
Texas did.
But you've got to play fully into it, and if your defense is, holding their own. I mean, offensively, you have to make that decision. I mean, what are the chances that Texas, even Penn State, just to quickly go back to Penn State when receivers
have as many catches as I did on Thursday night?
There was a receiver who had 1 catch for -3 yards.
Oh, -3 yards?
So, yeah. You still had more yardage.
Yeah, you had more yardage.
But, how are you really going to be able to get back to this level next year? Especially with the leveling, if there is going to be a salary cap, everything like this, the whole playing field can be level, and now it's like, okay, I'm going to need quarterback, I'm going to need at least 2 explosive players on offense. Your tight ends, James's tight ends is leaving, and Texas is like.
Yeah, Texas will be okay because I think Arch is just a better quarterback.
Well, that's the thing is if he's the outlier better quarterback, there's gotta be a argument within the staff or some sort of disconnect. Why aren't we doing this? I understand. I don't know. Maybe there's pictures that viewers have of Sark.
I don't know. Yeah, the loyalty. Yeah, that's what I said earlier. The loyalty to me. I get it. You're loyal to your player. You've had ups and downs. You made the semifinal last year. He was fantastic, but he's not the quarterback he was last year. And you had an opportunity to, it's like you had an opportunity to win. Same with Penn State. You had an opportunity. It's not like it is in the early 2000s where Bama goes to 9 straight national championships or Clemson or whatever. I think with the portal and the NIL, you get to that semifinal level, you have to say, okay,
I got more bets. All bets are off.
I got to put my best foot forward. Because that opportunity, like Penn State, I don't think they can play out next year. I think Michigan's going to be fabulous. Ohio State might not get next year. They lose their whole defense. It'll be interesting to see, Ohio State's going to lose their quarterback, they're going to lose their defense, they're going to lose Jigba. The Ohio State fans, Ohio State, if I'm watching the post-game shake between Arch Manning and Smith, I'd be a little scared that kid's going to be at Texas next year.
Oh, yeah.
I watched that and I was like, huh.
It's just that you're here.
Yeah.
And how hard is it to repeat to get one? I mean, to get back in the college football playoff.
Yeah.
138, 134 FBS teams.
Yeah.
That 25 are always going to be, with their prestige of their university.
You have teams loading up already for next year. Michigan's going to be unbelievable next year. Florida's going to be really good next year. I think Clemson's going to be good. Dabo's going in the transfer portal. If I'm a kid, if I'm a player, Dabo's kind of fun to listen to if you're going to transfer somewhere, and you have your quarterback return. I mean, I think there's other teams that are going to elevate. So I think, to your point, Texas and Penn State, put your best foot forward, man.
They missed out.
It's
a shame, and you know what? It doesn't matter. I mean, regardless. I know we're both not Ohio State fans, but they did what they needed to do. And, it couldn't be, maybe it was the best thing.
They were smart. They knew Ewers was no threat to run, so they could have their outside edge rushers go, hold them in the pocket, and then
his pocket awareness.
Yeah, his pocket awareness. And the other thing is they played press coverage, making him throw. Because Texas, if you watch Arizona State game, they like to go, say a 5 route and then the 7 route behind it and make the linebacker and the safety make a choice if they get time. They never had that last night because Iowa State's like, okay, we're just going to play press coverage.
We'll make him try to laser it in.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have a laser.
No. So congratulations. Okay, this is my next point with college football player. If I'm Ryan Day and I win, I walk off. I would say, fuck you guys. Fuck everyone for bitching about Michigan. I did what I had to do. The NFL would probably hire him tomorrow. He's a pretty good offensive coordinator. But I think that if I'm him, I'm just like, yep, it's been fun. You lose your whole defense. Look at the roster. You're going to have,
fresh.
Yeah,
I get it.
But
I think he's going to always have that hunger until he can do it. And I hope he couldn't do it this year. Yeah, I think he'll be there for quite some time, especially,
they're going to get their ass kicked in unless something drastically happens as far as transfer. Yeah, because Michigan's set up to be top 5-ish in my opinion. I'm not a Michigan fan at all. But I think, what they did last year, they keep a lot of kids that in their transfer portal. But yeah, if I'm Ryan Day, he's not an Ohio native. He's a Massachusetts guy. So the loyalty to the Columbus area, in my opinion, is overrated for him. He's probably okay, I can go to be the old coordinator at the Giants, make $10 million a year, not have to recruit a fucking kid.
Sure.
And be happy. So I just think that's part of it. But
all I want for the championship game, I want them to bring out loopholes for the coin toss.
Yeah.
Give a little wink to Ryan Day.
Yeah. Don't you think that's a dumb that they have to make it like a celebrity coin toss? It's so dumb.
It's all money, man.
It is all money. Yeah. My early lean is I think Ohio State close, but I think it's going to be a lot better game than people think. And if Notre Dame in 10 days, 11 days get healthy, if they can get a couple offensive lines back and their running back heal up, it could be a different game. Because you can run the ball in Ohio State. Michigan proved that. Mm-hmm. Texas, that was another thing last night with Sark. I think and this is the baffling thing with Sark. I know we're talking, but you look at some of his play calls and you're like, what are you doing? And then you watch the wheel route with the running back, and it's like, he's brilliant. Like,
no.
No. Yeah. They checked at the line. They seen that number 2 for Ohio State, the stud linebacker, safety, what's his name? I can't remember now. But he crept up. They checked. They went wheel route. It was wide open.
Oh yeah,
Downs. Yeah, Caleb Downs came up, and it's just like, why don't you do this all the time?
Was it Blue?
Yeah.
Running back.
Yeah, Blue. Yeah. I mean, he had 2 touchdowns, both on essentially the same play. But yeah, it's just like with Sark, it's just like he's been in the semifinals twice. I thought both times he's kind of, pissed himself in pressure situations against Washington last year and then this year. So
Georgia both time.
Well, yeah. I mean, but that's the thing that baffles me about him because he's brilliant at times. And like the Georgia game, it's like the edge rushers are kicking your ass. Run a draw,
Screen.
Have a blast at them. They're going to kick themselves out. On a running play. But anyway, so that's our national championship. That's my initial thoughts. What are your initial thoughts on it?
I just like that it's, out of all of the BS of what's going on, coaches complaining that at least the product of the national championship game is going to be well worth the pay.
Yeah.
I mean, you have 2 historic programs.
Will a Michigan fan watch this? I mean, these are the 2. Maybe if Michigan State played Ohio State, but I mean,
you're not wrong.
Yeah.
I mean that is true. The state of Michigan won't. I mean, you'll look at the ratings and the views. And, Michigan like 20%.
Yeah, 20%. I'm excited for it. I hate the scheduling, the Mondays. It's like I'm dragging today. I was up till midnight on Thursday, midnight last night. Oh my God. Have these things on a Saturday afternoon, so I have to sit there and pound Diet Coke at 10 o'clock at night. Can't wait.
I agree. Between that and the NFL, like, why can't it just be noon, 3 to 3:30, 6 to 6:30 for start times?
And our
get done at 10:30.
Our thoughts are out with the people of California and Los Angeles with the Wildfires. They're not watching football. They keep moving up. They have enough to worry about.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. But our thoughts and prayers are out there. That is a tragedy. It is. Moving on to high school basketball. Marquette handled Negaunee last night by 30. Marquette just the pressure defense. As Coach talked with Coach Larson before the game, and it's he's just like, you got to handle the pressure. And he alluded, he watched the Kingsford film, obviously Sam watched a shit ton of film, and he's just like, they even rattled them with senior guards and things like that, and that was his biggest fear going into it. Obviously he couldn't handle the pressure, but like he said, it's a building process for Negaunee. We're starting to put the bricks in the right place right now, and so I still think there'll be a contender as far as the district coming up.
That is the luxury of high school basketball.
Yeah. So Marquette's off until the 18th now, and I do believe they go to Grand Blanc. So that'll be a big test for Marquette Redmond. Coming up, to play a class. They have a schedule that's going to prepare them for the district. They have Grand Blanc and Cass Tech coming up in the tournament in Traverse City at the end of the month. So that'll be fun for them, and that'll be great tests going into the district because, obviously you want to be playing your best basketball at the end of February.
If you're Marquette, travel well. I mean, these are great experiences, especially crossing the bridge. If you're an athlete or just a student in the system, go and support your players. Your friends, your classmates.
Have fun. You only have one high school experience. That's what I always tell people. Kids.
There's a couple 50s.
Yeah, a couple 50 years. Held back, different things like that. But kids these days take advantage of those 4 years. You do as much as you want, as you can. You experience as much experience as you can because it's going to be over before you know it.
You can go and binge watch Netflix.
You can do that
when you're 50. It doesn't matter.
51. Yeah. But So Westwood handles Houghton. I was surprised by that result, but Coach Gray's got it going on. Houghton came in with one loss. Granted, they're in the copper country. Their schedule is kind of suspect, but they handled Gwynn. They bombed Gwynn on Tuesday, and then Westwood holds them to 44 points and a 28-point win. Great win for Westwood. They kind of got it rolling right now. They have Negaunee next Friday, which is always a fun game in Negaunee. But Westwood, big wins over Iron Mountain and Houghton throughout the last couple of weeks has really helped as far as getting their identity, getting them ready for playoffs.
With those wins, do you believe that the front runner for the UP Player of the Year would be Marta?
Yes. Yeah, he's, he had 43 in the overtime loss to Negaunee. He had 30 against Iron Mountain to win.
35 against Houghton.
Yeah, I mean he's just he grew. He's gotten stronger. His court awareness is amazing. Yeah, as of right now, like I don't think he'd be UP Player of the Year. I think McPhee would get it from Marquette.
Okay.
I think Marta is probably
Conference player.
Conference Player of the Year right now, in my opinion. Just looking at everything and how he's doing. Iron Mountain's kind of a three-headed monster. Sample Torres does a lot to give Oscar looks. Marta kind of creates those looks. So yeah, I'm all on that. Negaunee Ishpeming played really well last night. Coach Yoho could use that as a building block, 3-point loss to Negaunee. They were ahead at one point in the third quarter. Negaunee, the thing is they spread it out, they shoot threes. They have a dog in Kyle Waterman that just gets all the rebounds and the dirty work. And, it's tough to contend. You listen to the stats, Negaunee shot 58%, so they're tremendously efficient as far as their offensive scheming. Ishpeming shot 41%, so I mean, as hard as Ishpeming played, Ethan Corp had 11 rebounds. I think, just at the end of the day, you got to put the ball in the basket. Negaunee is very efficient doing that. Mm-hmm. And they have been since they kind of turned around. They got blown out by Kingsford. They got blown out by Marquette. And since that point, they've been pretty efficient offensively with wins over Negaunee, wins over Westwood, wins over Ishpeming now. So Gwynn. So yeah, they're getting it rounded in the form as they move on. They have a rematch with Marquette coming up there with Kingsford as well. And that will be a good benchmark as far as what Coach Nelson can look at as far as moving forward. And then Coach Yoho, that's a great effort last night. You got Gwynn, and then you kind of got your gauntlet coming up. Like Gladstone, Houghton, Iron Mountain, Westwood, Negaunee, and Negaunee following it all. So that'll get them, very seasoned for the districts as they move forward.
I don't see much gray hair from here.
No, I feel pretty relaxed. I sleep well. I miss the X's and O's. I miss the scouting, and I miss the practice. But other than that, it's pretty good. Girls basketball last night. Negaunee stays undefeated. They handle it by, I think, 25 points. I think it's 55-30. Positive for Ishpeming. Maya Hammer gets cleared by the NCAA. She is now eligible to play. She played a little bit last night. And Coach Rico has to work her in, as far as the rotation. But Negaunee is so efficient. Coach O'Donnell is just, almost robotic. Yeah. Just an amazing coach that just consistently does it year after year after year.
I mean, what level you want to talk about here, or what side you want to talk about here?
I mean, you just lost, a player that scored 20-something games, getting some minutes at Michigan Tech. It's like, all right, we'll just reload. Who do I got? Yeah, who do I got? Okay, we're fine. We'll go undefeated. So, yeah, so they're the cream of the crop. I think Gladstone's really good in girls basketball. I think Houghton has some potential. Ishpeming has some potential. They just got to figure it out now with lineup changes. The thing about Ishpeming is people don't realize everything. Well, they have this Eagle back. No, they're playing him. They lost 6 seniors from last year's team.
And when you talk about seniors,
6 seniors that contribute
3 to 4 years.
Yeah,
varsity players.
Yeah, you had
not like.
Yeah, you had 3 4-year varsity players. So it's just like Puerto Rico will figure it out. But yeah, that's kind of the girls' basketball hierarchy. In my opinion, Escanava's okay, Gladstone's really good. Wins, Young, I like their roster. I watched them the other night. Love their roster. Love that group. They started a freshman, two freshmen, two sophomores, and a junior. Wow. Yeah, and another Delmont's coming through. Yeah,
another one.
Yeah, I didn't realize. I talked to the mom. I'm like, I didn't realize you had another daughter. Oh yeah.
One every 3 to 5 years.
Yeah. So yeah, I like that roster, but yeah, Westwood's kind of hit or miss. But yeah, I think it's just Negaunee, Gladstone, and kind of the rest of the team right now as far as girls basketball. NFL playoffs start today. We want to talk about Carson's back. Okay. And this is the downside of the transfer portal, in my opinion. So Carson Beck didn't play in the playoff against Notre Dame. Looked like someone backed over his dog during the game. I mean, he looked miserable on that sideline. He looked like, he's going to, a insurance seminar or something, and you just sit there. It's like it was just crazy how uninterested he looked. Well, we find out why. He's going to Miami to play quarterback. I'm going to call it weak sauce, Cody. I'm calling it weak sauce. It is. You left the SEC to go play in a basketball conference and play in front of 60 fans at Hard Rock Stadium.
Now, when you say this is the downside of the transfer portal, are you talking about this from Miami's perspective? Because I don't see this being a downside from Georgia's perspective. I think he's a flop. After watching him enough this year, why? Yeah. Why try to retain him?
Well, I get it, but it's also, I think it's like team chemistry. It's kind of like you said, what you alluded to with Quinn Ewers. I mean, these teams are going into playoffs. To me, winning a national championship is a special thing. Winning any championship, you should know that as a state champion in football. The fact that these quarterbacks have one eye on 2025, and hey, I can. In Carson Beck, the rumor is that he got his draft evaluation. They said third round.
That's generous.
And he's like, and he said, I can go to Miami and get paid $6 million start. Probably, being one of the funnest cities in the United States as a college kid, versus being stuck on the bench in Tennessee, holding a clipboard for $800,000. So that's the NIL, and this is where the NFL, unfortunately, the federal government and college have to have an agreement. They have to have some kind of thing because, it's like yours. I bet you he's on the transfer portal by Tuesday.
Saturday today.
All day.
Monday. Yeah, Monday.
Yeah.
I mean, it's already set in stone, but I do agree with you that there needs to be some sort of regulation.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I think, but I do have to say this. I mean, if I'm Texas and Sark, Georgia and Kirby, I'm okay with this.
Well, I'm sure Kirby.
I mean, that's probably what that internal conversation was okay, back talking to Kirby and being like, what's going on? And he's like, get the hell out. I mean, you struggled the whole year.
He did struggle.
I mean, the drop off from last year to this year, I mean, he wasn't great last year, but he was good. He was better than he was this year.
Oh, he was terrible this year. I mean, even the Texans game. Let's go back to that first Texans game. They won 30-15 in spite of him throwing for 3 interceptions.
Oh, yes.
They could have boat raced that game because their defense was that dominant.
If he would have played a little better, Texas might not even have made it.
No. I mean, Texas would be, okay, your 2 losses are to Georgia by, 40 and 28.
With a backup quarterback and then Georgia by 1 million.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, and that's, and we're playing back to college football, of course.
We're dominating.
Well, then that goes back to my other thing. How good is Ohio State? And so Georgia could have beat Texas by, let's say, 4 touchdowns. Mm-hmm. If Beck doesn't throw it away, throw a screen pass for Texas, the pick six, Notre Dame is not going to be that outclassed as Ohio State. As much as the experts think, I just don't get it. I really don't. But anyway, back to the transfer portal. I think, to me, it's such a fine line. I mean, to me, you commit to your team for the full season. And this is my unresearched take. I think he's going to play in the playoffs. I don't think you want to.
True.
I don't think you want to.
You have a good point.
I think he's just like, if I get my elbow hurt again, where's my next move?
And going back on what you just said is like when you're committed to your team, you're committed to the team for the full year. You go look at this. This kind of stems from. Look at us as coaches, past coaches, or speaking to coaches. You might have a player who's foreign to the game itself, and you got to build them up. But anyways, it's like you have kids drop off and that lose interest, and they're okay with it.
Yeah.
And that was the society that implemented within the last 7 to 8 years.
Yeah.
That I'm not getting the playing time. I'm not getting my piece of the pie. I'm just going to quit. Well, if you see that as a starter in high school and you do make it to the next level, it's ingrained in your head. It's like, I don't have to hold this team jack.
Right.
And you just created that culture because of this not being nipped in the bud earlier, which ultimately goes back to parenting.
Yeah. And you're right. You look at my first year as the boys varsity coach. I just started not go back out the next year. Started as a sophomore, had 21 points in the game at West Iron, and moved to that higher team next year. Like I was doing
we just get. I just don't get it from that, but I do agree. It's like if it's a season, you finish out the season.
Yeah.
Like you have to give your full respect, commitment, no matter what. Because if you start something, you should finish something.
I agree 100%. But so the transfer portal is kind of, like I said, it needs to be regulated. We talk about it probably every week, but now it's kind of like, it's like the silly season, it's like the NFL coaching carousel right now. It's the same thing with the transfer portal, like which quarterback's going where, who's got eligibility, different things like that. So, NFL coaching carousel, no hires yet. The Ben Johnson
sweepstakes.
Yeah. People are talking New England for him.
I think Vrabel's going to New England.
Think so?
Yeah.
I
know that
they would. The rumor, do you see Tom Brady quit Fox Sports? He
did finally quit Fox Sports.
Yeah.
Well,
he's a partial owner, but obviously maybe he has a deal with Vrabel too. They're talking about pulling Belichick away from North Carolina, which would be absolutely hilarious.
Well, I know Brady has been in contact with Belichick, but I know that Ben Johnson had he loved the evaluation of Drake's name.
Yes.
In the draft process.
Yeah.
Obviously they weren't going to get him. Drake was going to get him, but
and then Aaron Glenn got interviewed by the Jets, which I called last week. Thank you.
They're saying the front runner is New Orleans, but I agree with you. I think he'd go to the Jets.
Yeah.
I think he'll be a Jet.
The Rex Ryan thing is odd. You talk about retreads. He's been on the shelf for 13 years. It's like, get the dust out and dust it off a little bit.
Well, I think it's a very, like the pros, especially if you're the owner of a team or a share owner of a team that I want the coach fired.
Yeah.
That when you look at it from the perspective from a coach, I think the owner looks at it like, okay, can they talk to the media?
Yeah.
Can they not have, like, is their personal life okay?
Yeah.
And they're, are they actually looking at it from does this guy actually still know X's and O's? Does this guy actually know how to still motivate from it was 13 years ago?
Well, he was using a chalkboard. He didn't have whiteboard back then.
Drill the chalkboard up.
Yeah. No, it's just weird. And he's like really politicking for the job. And this is a thing, like, for me personally as a coach, if some other team approaches you, that's kind of how I want to get back into coaching. And the fact that Rex Ryan's just like, I want to be the judge. Yeah, exactly. It's just like, what are you doing? Value yourself, man. He's like pouring himself out. Like, this makes no sense. The one I heard that's pretty interesting is Nate getting another shot.
Yeah, where were they predicting?
Like Jacksonville?
Jacksonville, yes.
Yes, Jacksonville for Nagy. And like the consensus is he kind of got the short straw at Chicago because, obviously their personnel is not at that level yet. And yeah, Nagy coming back would be interesting. Yeah. What's the Ryan Bowles, I think, is their GM?
I think so.
Yeah, I know that. The rumor is that Ben Johnson wants him fired. If he's going to go to Chicago, he wants to bring in his own GM, which I get.
Oh, Chicago's biggest success over the last 6 years was beating Green Bay for the first time. Yeah. Truthfully, I mean that was the only thing recently that, aside from drafting Gilo.
It's such a shame because that's such a good sports city. I mean, that's a loyal, tough, great sports city between the Cubs, the Bulls, the White Sox.
They're starving.
They're starving right now.
I mean, you go from
Detroit's
the 80s to
fat.
the 90s.
Yeah.
Detroit. And the 80s to the 90s, the Bears football.
Yeah.
The 90s or late 80s to 90s, the Bulls.
The Cubs.
The Cubs in the 2010s.
Yeah.
Even the Cubs a little bit in 2000s.
Yeah.
Chicago with the Rose. I mean, when they get something, I mean, you're not going to be able to ignore it.
Yeah. So, I mean, interesting, but yeah, there's the coaching carousal, and McCarthy is held hostage until the 15th by the Cowboys. They wouldn't let him talk to the Bears. Now they're negotiating, but I guess the big stickler on that is McCarthy's trying to negotiate for his staff as well. Jera is not doing well with getting his staff rehired. And, like I said, I thought McCarthy did a good job, considering the circumstances. Starting Trey Lance at the last game of the year. But, yeah, Dallas, my prediction is McCarthy gets out of jail and goes somewhere else.
I think he's held hostage.
Well, his contract expired on the 14th.
Oh, it does.
So he's free game on the 15th. And I think if I'm him and his agent, I'd stall this thing out. I mean, you're already on
take a knee.
You're already on 11th. Take a knee. But that's a coaching corral. No hires yet, which is odd. Usually you have a hire right away.
I think it's I think the NFL owners really have to evaluate this because your college prospects aren't going to be as this upcoming draft.
Well, I mean, and you're right on that because like Beck staying, the depth of the quarterback class, if Ewers stays, I mean, so now you're like you have Shador,
and Miami,
Cam Ward, and then you have someone like the kid from Jackson Dart.
Oh, Jackson Dart.
Yeah.
So those three,
yeah.
But I mean, I wouldn't believe anybody else, even if Beck went out, even if Ewers went out in the draft. I don't trust their decision making, their attributes, their in-game decisions, their pocket presence. So it's three quarterbacks. So now, if you're owner, you have to really look and see, can I identify a coach who can
develop a quarterback?
Yeah, develop a team. Maybe it's not really go after a quarterback and fix some of the outside issues, whether it's linemen, defensive backs. I mean, the Raiders are a big example. They have great positions, and they have positions they need to fill.
Yeah.
As of yesterday.
And that's a team that, I mean, if I was running them, I'd probably look at free agents, get like a Justin Fields or someone, in Daniel Jones, and kind of do what Pittsburgh did this year, and then trade back and fill up your roster.
If I'm the Raiders, I get really clueless.
Yeah, like that. That's what I do, because you're looking at the quarterbacks, and after Shador and Cam, it's kind of like,
Dark could work.
Yeah.
I think Dark could work.
Yeah, it's a weak class, but it's interesting. Our 6-pack picks, I didn't gain any ground last.
Cool. We leveled 4 and 2.
4 and 2 for each of us.
That was pretty exciting.
Yeah.
I was pretty happy about that.
So we have our playoff games this week.
Playoff games, yeah.
For a 6-pack. The vintage tradition, the tradition like any other, the Houston Texans playing at 3:30 on Saturday in the first round. It is like locked in. I don't know if the Reliance Stadium has a contract with the NFL, but they always get the 3:30 games.
Tax cuts.
Yeah, tax cuts. Yeah. Tax break.
Yeah. Tax break. Yes.
Give me San Diego.
San Diego. I mean,
or Los Angeles. I call them San Diego.
It's San Diego.
Yeah.
It just, I truly believe that there's few coaches at both collegiate and NFL levels that you could take out of football and put in like an insurance company, a car salesman company, and they'll just be successful wherever they're at. Harbaugh's one of them.
Yeah, he just maximized it.
Yep.
He just maximized so good.
Give me Harbaugh. I'm fighting Harbaugh's.
Next one is Pittsburgh at Baltimore. I think this is going to be, unless Pittsburgh shows me something differently, I think this is going to be like the ass kicking of the weekend.
I think so too.
Yeah, I'm going Baltimore pretty handily, I think.
I think now that Burrow's not in the playoffs, I think Lamar should win MVP.
I think Allen. I like Josh.
Oh, he's a great. I forgot about Josh.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's still, I mean, Lamar's, for being a running back, he's still a pretty good thrower.
Yeah.
He's really overcame those inner demons.
Yeah. So give me that.
Yeah, I got Baltimore as well.
So we agree on the first two. So I like Buffalo. So this is weird that they have all the AFC games like boom, boom, boom. It's like get you out of the way. You're done. No, usually they stagger them, AFC, NFC, AFC, NFC. I gotta go Buffalo. I'm sorry. I think Sean Payton's a brilliant coach. I think he's done wonders. I just can't see Denver generating enough offense in this game to win. I think their defense will keep them in it for the most part because they have a good game plan. But Bo Nix, he's a Southern kid. It's cold. I'm going Buffalo.
We disagree.
Ooh,
I got Denver.
Denver, Cody with the road upset.
And
okay, so let's piggyback up. Is McDermott fired? If they lose Denver at home? Yes.
And this is Josh Allen is going to have an MVP game.
Yeah.
But it all depends on looking at this. Like, okay, if you got cold weather, and I understand Bo Nix is a Southern boy, but he's been playing in Denver. Yeah. It's not like the conditions there are ideal.
Yeah.
But I could see a receiver, a running back with just getting a peanut punch, fumble, or a special teams mistake. Like this is where Sean Payton excels over other coaches. He finds other avenues to keep the game close.
Yeah.
When he knows, okay, maybe my quarterback's not as good, maybe we got to figure out ways. Maybe go look at the Super Bowl against the Colts.
Yeah.
I mean, the balls of kicking the onside kick after halftime. He's a very good coach, but at times he does go outside the box, unorthodox to try to get the advantage to get the win. So, it's a shot in the dark. I know Buffalo's favorite. I like Denver.
I like the drama of McDermott being fired on Monday, and that opening going up, and that changing the whole coaching carousal.
Ben Johnson.
Ben Johnson goes to Buffalo. We're calling him right now. Your beloved Green Bay Packers. Mm-hmm. Let's No, we're gonna do
No pack,
go. Going to my least favorite team in the NFL, the Philadelphia Eagles. I hate their coach. I hate their culture. I just hate the Eagles. I hate. Mm-hmm. I'm picking Green Bay. I think I'm going back in history, and everyone knows I'm a historian. I'm a nerd. I'm going back to the Green Bay at Atlanta game in 2010 when I think it was the kid from Miami, Sam Shields had the pick six
before halftime.
Yes. I'm feeling that energy in Philadelphia tomorrow. I think they're going to turn over early, go up 7-0, and really get a pucker. I don't know how Jalen Hurts will be after the concussion protocol. I'm feeling an upset. The taco game tomorrow, Ready Taco Party. Give me the Packers.
That makes one of us.
Yeah, you're sold on them.
I'm out.
You cashed in your chips on the Packers last weekend. Via the text, I could tell Cody was like, "Yeah, I'm done with this year."
I mean, I will root for the Packers, and the Packers will win if they keep LaFleur off the bus.
Ooh. Cody wanted them fired. LaFleur to Buffalo, that opens it up. There we go. There you go. Yeah.
And it's just, I understand he's a very successful regular season winning coach, and he builds within the year, but the strategy at the end of the game, the Bears game, is stupid, fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
And I get it. I'm a Packers fan, but why is it that you kick your field goal, you go up by 2, you get a horse collar, and then all of a sudden Chicago lines up in a 3-by-1 set with 3 receivers on the right, stacked behind each other, 1 receiver on the left. Green Bay calls their last timeout to check it over, go over it. They go back out on the field. They have 3 safeties at the 10-yard line. Keep in mind, this is 60 yards away from the end zone.
Yeah.
They don't need 6.
Yeah.
They need 3.
Yeah.
And all Caleb Williams has to do is look, I have 3 less people there. They're bracketing the 3 receivers on the right. I have my receiver on the left who can do an 8-yard slant. There's 18 seconds left. If he catches it 12 yards, gets down, spikes it, we're in field goal.
Yeah.
Why they went Bears.
Yeah,
LaFleur went Bears.
Yeah. So I have a theory on LaFleur. Mm-hmm. He does better with less. And my argument to that is, so he had Rodgers for numerous years. And they were madly inefficient with Rodgers. He gets Love last year. Love's not developed yet. And LaFleur does better with him because he has less. Mm-hmm. He gets Malik Willis this year. I thought he was unbelievable coaching.
I agree with that.
Now he has everyone kind of back, and he doesn't know what to do. He's kind of their offense really didn't have an identity last week.
The only identity they have is I do have to admit, I love they go old school pin and pull with an orbit motion. Yeah. Like they'll have Jalen Reed orbit, Love or Malik will 360, which will bring linebacker flow, and then they'll pin and pull their guards and their wham back.
Yeah.
And they just gash Chicago.
Yeah.
I mean, I do like that, but everything, just the decisions, and I do believe that he is a whine ass, which is why he doesn't get enough respect by officials, players. They had a players only meeting after the
game. Yeah, I know they did.
So,
and I think he tries to do too much with Love. I mean, I think Love's still not a top 5 quarterback. I think LaFleur thinks he is. Mm-hmm. I think he puts him in situations where he's not ready for it.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah. Washington at Tampa Bay Sunday night. My favorite part about the playoffs is Fox fought for that Green Bay Philly game. They weren't giving up that game to, I think that's the prime game. Was that the Netflix game on Sunday night?
I don't know.
No, the Sunday night game is the Sunday night game. I think the Monday game is the Netflix game. I think tonight's game's a prime game.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not
One of them.
coverages or anything like that.
Yeah, but give me Tampa Bay. Give me
Baker.
Baker's just kind of fun. I mean, he's just all over the place. He can sling it. You know, he's like
He carries.
yeah. I mean, I can see him throwing for like 321 and 4 touchdowns,
Or 321 and 2 touchdowns, 3 picks.
Yeah,
But the thing is, like, even like,
yeah,
you know, his post game last week about getting Mike Evans his 11th straight 1,000-yard season. When he's like, when he's seen his running back running, he's like, oh shit.
yeah.
How the hell? I'm going to be the guy who's responsible, and we'll end up getting more possession and getting that point. But
Yeah.
I mean, I like Baker. I do like Baker, but I like Daniels more.
So you're gonna go Washington?
I'll go Washington. Somehow, I don't know. Isn't that such a weird team?
It is weird. They should have lost the Dallas's backups last week.
I mean, you got Pat backwards.
Yeah.
Who's
Dan Quinn?
Dan Quinn.
Yeah, former
Defensive, sounded coach. Just a stud in Jaden Daniels and just pieces, little puzzle pieces.
Yeah. So I think it'll be a great game. I think Baker needs one more play than Jaden Daniels.
I could see that.
Yeah. That's just mine. So we're disagreeing on 2 of them so far.
3 of them?
Yeah.
3 of them. Last 3.
Minnesota at the Rams in Phoenix at Glendale Stadium. I've been flip-flopping on this more than a senator on a bill to be passed. I can't get Sam Darnold last Sunday out of my head. Oh my God.
It is 2025.
Yeah.
The 2024 lease expired.
Give me the Rams.
You got the, I got the Rams too.
Yeah.
After when we watched that together, it was just kind of like
you're right open.
They are. It's like I can maybe do that.
I don't know. When he missed that touchdown pass to Justin Jefferson, I think at the second possession inside the left corner. I mean, it's like, and he overthrew it by like 5 yards. It was like, where are you throwing it to? He was rattled. I think, and Sean McVay is smart enough to cook up some schemes defensively. And you have Matthew Stafford. Stafford's seen rushes, he's seen blitzes, he's seen it all. He's got his receivers back. Yeah, give me the Rams in a close one.
I got the Rams as well. I just what Darnold. I mean, I get it. That might have been the most intensified regular season game
it was
ever.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it.
With the stakes and everything.
14-3, and now you got to go to Arizona for your first round.
Mm-hmm.
You
got to go to Arizona, and if you win that, then you just got to keep traveling on the road.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, they could. I mean, if Green Bay.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if everyone pulls upsets, Green Bay wins, and Washington wins. I mean, then you host Washington if you're Minnesota.
Yeah. But the Darnold thing, and then also like now, what was it, the 3rd or the 4th possession? Who's number 3 on Minnesota?
Oh,
Darnold Addison. He missed
wide open
on the right side, 5-yard out. He missed his read on that side. I mean, they missed so many opportunities.
They could have been up by 2 scores at that, and that changes the complexion of the game, obviously. But give me the Rams. Keeping close here. Some college hoops is really good. I've been watching quite a bit. Duke just punished Pitt. Duke, according to the KenPom, ranks as number 1 team right now altogether. They're really good. Cooper Flagg, Continental, they're really good. They defend the hell out of it. They only allowed 47 points to Pittsburgh, which is unlike Duke and very unlike John Shire. Because me as a Duke fan, my complaints is that they never defend very well. Even at Coach K's last couple of years, like, remember him going to zone a couple of times? It's like, oh my God, you guys are that bad defensively. But Duke's pretty good. The SEC is loaded. Alabama's good, Auburn's good, Tennessee's good, Florida's good, Kentucky's good. It's the flip-flop of football. They used to be good in football. They're not good in football anymore. They're in basketball. So, I mean, they're fun to watch. Florida had a week they went to Tennessee or Kentucky and lost by 6, and then they go and blow out number 1 Tennessee by 30 on Wednesday. Um, Alabama's Alabama. Nate Oates is the stud coming from Romulus to Buffalo to Alabama. He just gets it done right. Obviously Bruce Pearl.
Right. I don't know why I like him so much. I just like the grind that Bruce goes through.
Yeah. So they're pretty good. The Big Ten. Michigan State's playing really well. My concern with Michigan State is their 3-point shooter. Can you hit threes when you need to? But they got it going on. They defend really well. They're physical as hell. They beat up Ohio State last Sunday, and then they pounded Washington on Thursday. I think they play tomorrow. I just looked at the schedule. The one team I've enjoyed watching twice now this past week is Michigan. Dusty White, they're so well coached. It is amazing the transformation from Jawan to Dusty May. Dusty May is amazing to me. It's just like I watched it. Their sets are insane. They blew out UCLA, they blew out USC last couple of games out on the West Coast. So they're a dangerous team, and he does it right. And the biggest struggle for them is their guard. UCLA pressured them a little bit. Then they had a shit ton of turnovers. They had 16 turnovers against UCLA. So, but yeah, they're fun to watch. The college basketball started rolling in the form. College basketball, you have the November, you have all like the previews. Like you have those like tournaments in New York or on Phones or whatever. And then like in December, it's kind of like
It's in the meat.
Yeah, December is more like
pre-conference.
The MAC schools playing against the Big Ten school. But now we're in January and it's in conference and it's a lot of fun. There's some good games today. Florida plays at Arkansas. I can't remember some of the other good games. But yeah, it's getting fun. And it's fun. I enjoy watching it because you're having the time to watch it. I've stayed up till midnight watching Michigan UCLA the other night. I was like, oh, this is not bad. But yeah, so that's my college. We'll get all more details on it. We'll probably start a ranking next. I'm going to start our Final Four teams next week. We're having a Final Four, and we'll rotate them every week to give us an idea. So
okay.
Final shout outs before we sign on.
Final shout outs. I'm not sure. You want to go first on this?
I'm going to shout out. I'm going to just to the people out in the Los Angeles area, and I know there's some animosity, like it's all the celebrities. It's still people that still have homes, they still have a history, they still have items, and it's just a tragedy. And thoughts and prayers to them, and make sure that they get everything, get their life back in order. And my shout out is the Michigan Tech Husky boys men's basketball team. Just lay in the woods in Northern the other night. That's an amazing game for Michigan Tech watching it. And, Northern's a very good team. Coach Matizak will figure it out. But hats off to Coach Bittner and Michigan Tech. That was an impressive performance.
Okay. Yeah, I'll piggyback. Definitely shout out to the people out west. Also, shout out. I know last week with the postponement of the college football playoff game between Georgia and Notre Dame.
Yeah.
With that attack, shout out to the people who had helped aid, the security, everything like that, to those of the families. And then my other shout out actually goes to the high school basketball coaches right now. You're dialing in now. This is kind of the grind time. It is. You're doing Sunday practices. You're evaluating film. You should be. Keeping a camaraderie with your players, with your captains. You're trying not to have any outside interference, whether it's parents, to keep whatever run you have, or try to make that turn to get on a run. So shout out to the coaches who are putting in the time We know who those people are.
Yes, we do.
But shout out to you guys.
All right. Yeah, that'll be it for the Going for Two podcast. We'll be back next week. We'll have our hierarchy 504 predictions. We'll update those every week. We're on YouTube now. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts. We have an email address. What's the email address?
Going for two at gmail.com with the number 2.
With the number 2. Have a great week, everyone. Enjoy. Right now, I got to hustle over there. I could probably delete over there. You know,